Now I am going to discuss about severe COVID-19 pneumonia. I already discussed about non-severe COVID-19 management, mild disease and moderate pneumonia. Here I am going to discuss about severe COVID-19 patient management. To manage the severe COVID-19 patient, you should have pulse oximeter number 1. Why? Your cutoff limit from non-severe to severe is room air saturation less than 90. Not only that, you should have adequate amount of oxygen supply and oxygen delivery system. You should have pulse oximeter, you should have oxygen, you should have delivery system. Delivery system means face mask and tubing system. After that, I am going to deliver oxygen into my patient. This patient having room air saturation less than 90. So I should provide oxygen for this patient. Indication for supplementary oxygen here, room air saturation less than 90. My target of saturation is 90. If my patient does not have hypoxia, features of hypoxia. If my patient having these features of hypoxia, my target might be more than 90. So in addition to that, during the resuscitation or emergency deterioration, I want to maintain saturation more than 94 in emergency and resuscitation. If I found a pregnant woman, their functional residual capacity is less because of the gravid uterus and oxygen consumption also high. In that case, I want to maintain saturation more than 92 to 95. The pregnant range is more than 92 to 95. I want to give supplementary oxygen for this group of patients who having saturation less than 90 without signs of hypoxia, or in case of emergency I want to maintain 94. In case of resuscitation, at least I should maintain 94 saturation, or in pregnant patient I want to maintain 92 to 95. How I going to give this much of oxygen is, from nasal prong I can give roughly about 5 liters per minute. From nasal prongs I can give 5 liters per minute. From venturi mask I can give 5 to 10 liters per minute. Venturi mask mention fraction of oxygen which is delivered to patient. According to that, it mentions the amount of liter you should provide externally. Or you can give face mask with non-rebreathing bag. Face mask with non-rebreathing bag. You can give roughly about 60 to 90% of oxygen, fraction of oxygen, by using face mask with non-rebreathing bag. For that, you should give at least how much of? You should give 10 to 15 liter per minute. 10 to 15 liter per minute oxygen for that. In addition to that, when you are supplying the oxygen, try to maintain high supported position of your patient. That means semi-recombinant position. Patient should be like this. Here your head, here bed. It will improve your ventilation and perfusion. It will improve your ventilation and perfusion. So, you identify the need of your patient. Your patient needs pulse oximeter, oxygen and oxygen delivery system. Then you know how to give oxygen, when to give oxygen. From this gadget, how going to give oxygen, and how your patient should be lie in the bed. Number 2, not 2. Number 3. If your patient having higher amount of secretion, try to remove by gravity assisted. When your patient cough, ask to bend down and cough. Gravity assisted secretion you can try. You can try gravity assisted secretion removal. In addition to that, you can ask your patient to do active breathing cycle. Usually your inspiration is active, it uses energy. Expiration is passive. If you want to do expiration also passive, actively, you can remove extra oxygen, extra gas from your lung and extra secretion from your lung. So you can consider active breathing cycle for your patient. Active breathing cycle. In addition to that, if you are patient on CPAP or BiPAP, you have to carefully consider it, because if you are patient having higher amount of secretion, the removing of secretion will be affected by your tight face mask with the positive pressure. It will be difficult. Secretion tend to accumulate in your lung. Your lung can be further bad. So that is number 3. Number 4, monitor for deterioration. This patient can rapidly go into critical patient or critical stage. Critical stage means those patients need life-sustaining treatment, may having ARDS, may having sepsis, or may having septic shock mainly. So for that, keep your own early warning score system. Early warning score system for this patient. Early warning score system. Number 2, you have to monitor your patient not only clinically, biochemically and hematologically. You have to measure hematological parameters, biochemical parameters, check for ARDS, check for AKI, check for acute cardiac injury, either MI or myocarditis, acute cardiac injury. So you have to carefully assess individual organ function if your patient having severe COVID-19. That is number 4. Number 5, check for thromboembolism. Number 5, check for thromboembolism. They are having high risk of developing thromboembolism. Simultaneously, few of them found to have increased risk of bleeding as well. So you have to carefully look for the features of deep vein thrombosis according to modified Wells criteria. You have to check your patient limb. You may have to do ultrasound in the abdomen or pelvis in order to identify the deep vein thrombosis in the pelvis. So you have to carefully identify the deep vein thrombosis. You have to consider the thromboprophylaxis in that case. You have to consider thromboprophylaxis. Subcutaneous enoxaparin 40 mg per day, the average healthy adult. If you are having BMI more than 40 with more than 120 kg body weight patient, you may have to consider double dose 40 mg BD in that case, twice a day 40 mg. So you have to consider thromboprophylaxis for this patient. Number 6, if you found a pregnant mother, you have to carefully monitor your patient. What are you going to monitor in the pregnant mother? Yes, pregnant mother can rapidly deteriorate. So you have to carefully look. Not only maternal monitoring, you have to do the fetal monitoring as well. Here I am going to highlight the fetal monitoring. Later on I am going to tell you about the management of COVID-19 and pregnant patient. So you have to consider the fetal heart rate monitoring. Fetal heart rate monitoring. You should teach about your patient. You should advise to your patient's mother about the kick count monitoring or any fetal movement reduce. Should inform immediately. Number 7, consider awake prone ventilation. What that means? Usually we are in the supine position when we are sleeping. Try to turn your patient into the prone and keep pillow here and put CPAP or oxygen from that way. That is called awake prone ventilation. Some people experience very difficulty in keeping in the prone position. They will experience pain when we are doing the awake prone ventilation. Some people can deteriorate hemodynamically with the awake prone ventilation because of the abdominal compression. So otherwise you have to consider awake prone ventilation. If your patient does not complain pain or a mild pain, you have to consider awake prone ventilation. If your patient does not have hemodynamic instability, you have to consider awake prone ventilation with the CPAP or BiPAP. Number 8, fluid management. Fluid management, if your patient does not have features of tissue hypoperfusion or hypotension, you have to consider conservative fluid management. That means minimal fluid in order to maintain the body function. Why? If you are going to give larger amount of fluid, your patient can develop pulmonary edema. Lung can be heavy and blocky. Your intra-lung water volume can be goes up. It can adversely affect your ventilation and perfusion, oxygen transfer across the alveolar capillary membrane. Because of that, if your patient does not have features of hypotension or tissue hypoperfusion, that means does not elevate at lactate, you have to consider conservative fluid management. Antipyretic, like previously, if your patient having fever, you have to consider antipyretic. Antibiotic, again, if you suspect secondary bacterial infection, or if your patient having sepsis with the new features of pneumonia, you can start empirical antibiotic. You have to take culture simultaneously. According to that culture, you have to either stop or you have to change the antibiotic. Usual antibiotic duration is 5 to 7 days. You have to consider the stopping of antibiotic in that case after about 5 to 7 days. So then consider about the nutrition. After about 24 hours of critical stage, you can consider enteral nutrition. This is how we are going to manage in patient with severe COVID-19. I will rapidly go through it. Pulse oximeter, oxygen and tedial system. Supplementary oxygen, room air saturation. You should give supplementary oxygen if room air saturation less than 90 without hypoxia, or more than 94 in case of emergency or resuscitation, more than 92 to 95 if you are having patient with pregnant. Nasal prom 5 liters per minute, Venturi again 5 to 10 liters per minute, face mask again 10 to 15 liters per minute. You can deliver approximately 60 to 90% of oxygen via face mask with non-ray breathing bag. Then if you found a patient with high secretion, try to do gravity assisted secretion clearance. Active breathing cycle you have to teach to your patient. In addition to that, if you are put CPAP, consider it might be deteriorate your patient. Number 4, monitor for signs of deterioration. This patient can rapidly go into critical stage. In that case, you have to monitor the patient using early warning score system. Whatever the scoring system, you can create your own. And look for hematological and biochemical parameters for the deterioration. And look for features of ARDS, AKI or acute cardiac injury. You have to manage accordingly. Then check for features of thromboembolism or DVT. You have to consider thromboprophylaxis for your patient. Most favorable one or most favorite one is enoxaparin, 40 mg daily in healthy adult. If you found a pregnant mother, once you resuscitate, check for the fetal heart rate and you have to consider fetal monitoring. You have to consider awake prone ventilation because it found to have improved your oxygenation. But your patient can experience pain, your patient can go into hypotension. In that case, you may have to turn into back. Fluid management. If your patient does not have hypotension or tissue hypoperfusion, you have to consider conservative fluid management. Antipyretic. If your patient is having high temperature, you have to consider. Antibiotic. Again, if you found a patient with sepsis, or severe pneumonia with sepsis, you may have to consider empirical antibiotic. Later on, you have to tail off it. So, last one, you have to consider the adequate nutrition of your patients. Thank you very much.